Episode 5, The Counterattack. I think there's like, it goes up to 7, maybe 8.
The Babel is an overdive system?
That's indeed the case. Although it must be hard to believe, I know science is never wrong.
I can't even believe in myself, let alone.
Listen to me, Aya. You're here. You're real. If you're hurt, it's okay to cry. I mean it. Letting your emotions out will help heal your wounds. I know it will. How sweet your tears must taste.
That's supposed to cheer me up?
Regretting what you've lost will deny you of a future. Of course, to live also means to hurt. And you will, repeatedly. A new enemy has recently been detected, trying to take the Grand Babel from the Twisted.
A new enemy? Like a new species or something?
Yes, an intelligent species that can take the form of humans. I've dubbed them the High Ones. They're a new and powerful race.
Okay. So, oh, you mean we were gonna zoom in on Afghanistan or whatever, Iraq? Somewhere in the Middle East?
Presume you know him.
Maybe.
Chief.
He's not a nice guy. No, no, no. You obviously couldn't tell I wasn't excited to get on with
What can I do for you?
rub my feet. The mission.
I'm going to the Grand Babel. I'm gonna settle things with Hyde.
New York has been overrun by the Twisted. The remaining troops are waiting at the Grand Babel, but...
But what?
There are countless Twisted headed towards the Grand Babel. Our troops have lost even in advantageous situations. Merely making it to Hyde Bor may be a feat.
I've made up my mind.
I wouldn't dream of stopping you. This is my chance to examine you and your abilities.
No, that doesn't sound creepy at all. That's twisted.
After extensive analysis, the results show that the new life forms are in no way related to the Twisted we're used to seeing. They have completely different roots and are an entirely different species.
And they're fighting each other. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. The Twisted that built the Babel and the High Ones that have the ability to transform into people are fighting for the right to survive.
Hyde Bor.
If the High Ones were cunning enough to have been controlling the CTI, the question becomes why he entered the Grand Babel. What is he after?
If the Babel's a giant overdive system,
then he's using it to go back to the past. Why? You'll need to ask him. The High Ones are extremely powerful. Hyde Bor has killed countless Twisted in mere seconds.
the most powerful of them all?
Yes. And although they're at war with the Twisted, that doesn't mean they'll side with us.
Is this all new stuff too?
Aya, you've fought against Twisted that resemble humans. Isn't that correct?
And every time, the world changed.
Those were the High Ones. A new race with incredible powers that even diminish those of the Twisted's queen. They barely resemble the Twisted at all.
Do they infect humans?
It looks that way. According to your story, Kyle and the others were taken over by the High Ones. They were abducted.
What do you mean abducted?
People come in contact with something that eats away at their soul. They soon complete their transformation, but until then, it would be impossible to tell them apart from other humans.
Okay.
You said the Babel is an overdive system. Are you positive?
I compared the remains of the previous device with the Babel's structure. Although they differ in parts, the basics are the same. The one responsible for creating the CTI device is.
Huh?
Hide. But why would the Babel need to be so big?
An enormous amount of energy is required for them to go far into the past and remain there for some time. The size of the device required would be proportional to.
All right, I get it. But why would the Twisted create such a thing?
Instinct, perhaps? After analyzing the DNA of the Twisted, I found evidence that they have the ability to travel back in time.
Nice to know.
So basically, they're a mysterious life form. Born in the far future, blindly trying to get to the past.
Yes, that's exactly it. Oh, you're far more intelligent than the others.
Did they intentionally make this story to not make sense or something?
After hearing your story, I ran some information through the database and found a few things linking the high ones.
And?
Well, Hyde Bohr, Kyle Madigan, Gabrielle Mancini, and Emily Jefferson all interacted with each other. All of this happened before you lost your memory.
What's the story on Emily?
At one point, she and Eve went to the same school, but there are no records after that.
She and Eve went to school together?
Sure.
The one mystery is Isabella. The Babel couldn't have had its own will. It's merely a device.
Cray called it Isabella. The Babel tried to take over both Cray and Eve.
According to the files, Isabella was born in 2003. She was the only daughter of Thelonious Cray. She died in a car accident in 2006.
Wait, she was in an accident in 2006?
It's strange indeed. The Babel didn't exist back then.
But Cray believed that was his daughter. Something doesn't add up.
Perhaps the file is incorrect.
How did the High Ones come to be?
I have no clue.
You're lying.
Scientists never state anything without evidence.
If you don't want to tell me, fine.
Did you notice anything when you were fighting the High Ones?
They were
A memory.
high.
Huh?
A memory of Eve.
Oh, how fascinating. When I acquire her, when we find her, can I inquire more about it?
Oh, which one was I on? This one?
My story. You believe me when I say the world has changed.
Of course. One day you came back to us with memories no one else has. But to forget everything that happened between us is unfortunate.
But I didn't dive into the past. And still, things have changed.
That is odd. The Twisted are like a tsunami coming at us from the future. And the dam that was supposed to hold the water in place has been broken.
So Kyle and the others were the dam?
The waves erode time. My theory is flawless. So, in your memories, what was our relationship like?
Oh.
Exactly like it is now.
Fucking.
I would do anything for you. Anything.
Why does this guy have to be so damn creepy? Any new mail? Looks like it. 013. Jamie Russo Squad, Jamie Denton, DeBlank, Dr. Blank. I'm sending along a copy of an old newspaper article. Only info I was able to obtain on Russo's platoon in Operation Red Flag in 2001. A terrorist act was committed in a large museum park. The U.S. Army selected the most talented members of its distinguished Delta Force team and formed a team of pro soldiers skilled at raids, combat, and suppression. Its captain was Danny Russo, aka Russo, and the Vultures squad had many fun showings out in the field, but one incident stands out. The 2004 hostage crisis at the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. A criminal group had holed up inside the bank with 89 hostages, including Senator Daniel Weston. Russo and his men successfully defused a potentially disastrous situation. Many dreamed of joining the best of the best on Russo's squad, but few made it through the diabolical training he had devised for his troops. Jamie Denton, Data Analysis Unit. And MIDA, I think that's how you say it. Genetic Analysis Kyle, the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man. Dear Tin Man, how have you been? Looks like the Babel and Twisted haven't popped up in Alaska yet, but I expect things to go downhill with that Kyle creep on the scene. Knowing you, you've probably heard this a while back, but NSA tells me the real culprit behind the CTI murders appears to be none other than Kyle Madigan. Seems he was out to destroy the overdrive device. He probably didn't like Aya diving around in his past. According to Everett's Many Worlds interpretation, the world we live in is just one of the many parallel universes. Even so, this is the only reality we know. Each of us giving his or her all to fight for it. Unfettered by government or agency, that's the ideal by which we live as disciples of Oz. With your passion and my courage, we'll win for sure. Please run an image analysis on the attached video file. I'd also like genetic testing on the hair sample I was able to obtain. We are very close to peeking behind the curtain and seeing Kyle for who he really is. I destroyed Kyle. What does it even matter now? I think. Well, you know what, before we get any further, I want to treat y'all to something and say fuck it. Let's do the damn thing. Because I know this is the only thing you tuned in for before we get started. It's gonna warm us up. Let's go. Let's go. What's the matter? Couldn't have the helicopter back up. That's bullshit. I was trying to make her have a shower. Cause she smells like stuff. I don't know. Anyway, fuck this. I'm just gonna go and start the mission already then. Damn it. Okay. Operation Scarlet Snow. The Babels fused to create the Grand Babel, a huge stronghold clinging to what little hope remained. The surviving troops moved in on the Twisted Den to bring it down. Lower Manhattan. 1900 something hours. Let's go.